Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you I'm going to be teaching you about grids, how you can basically create grids and rulers in Photoshop. Not rulers, grids. Alright, so let's jump right into it. Okay, so rulers basically first of all are these things on your edge, on the edge of the flyer. Right, so all you need to do is press Ctrl R on your keyboard so to either hide them or bring them back. Alright, so that's what rulers are. Well, grids, however, we get grids from the rulers. Alright, so all you have to do is left click and drag from the ruler and boom, you have a grid. If you want that's a vertical one. If you want a horizontal one, you go from the horizontal ruler. So that's a simple way to create grids. It's very simple, very straightforward. Okay, now so you might be following a tutorial and you might wonder how they did it. So this is how people get grids. You can also accurately adjust where you want the grid to be placed. So what I do is I select it by left clicking on it. Then once it's selected, you right click, you click on edit select guides. Alright, okay, it's actually called a guide, not a grid. So edit select guides, and then once you get here, you see position, right click on it, and I usually choose percent. Alright, so if you want it to be placed 10%, you can see where it is placed. Let's remove this horizontal one. You can see where 10% is. If you bring in another one, if you want it to be placed in the middle, where is the middle? The middle will be what? 50%. So select 50 and boom, you can see it's in the middle. Okay, if you want another one at the other edge with this equidistant with this first one, it will have to be what? Since that first one is 10%, this one has to be what? 90% if you want it to be equidistant. Okay, so this is how to create your grids. This is how to create your grids. Now what if you want the grids to be at the four corners, like four corners of this? Alright, now you might say, okay, since this is 10%, let's remove this 50%. You might say, since this is 10% and this is 10%, right, that means this up and down should also be 10%, but it's not supposed to be. But let's do an experiment. Let's find out if it will work. So if we go and click on 10% also, can you see that? Can you see that it is not equidistant? Can you see that it is not equidistant? If you look at the space it has made, this is a rectangle, it's not a square. It's supposed to be a square if it's equidistant. Right, the reason why it is not is that the height of the canvas is longer than the width of the canvas, so there's no way 10% on the width will be 10% on the height. So how do you make sure that it's equidistant? Right, so what I do is, once you've created this first grid, you come here and you create a rectangle. Right, you create a rectangle. You don't even need this. Even if you don't know what this second guide, what it should be, you can just remove it. Right, so you create a rectangle, you press Ctrl T. Okay, you just position the rectangle at the edge, at the very edge. Then you press Ctrl T and then you reduce it until it is aligned. Once it is aligned, what do? You can now come to the top and take the guide to the edge of the rectangle. Once you have that, you can now move the rectangle to the bottom right. Once it's at the bottom right, you can now bring in another guide, put it on top of it, bring in another. It's going to stick to it. Alright, so you can see now we have something that's equidistant. You can see that the corner is a square. Alright, so that's one way that you can do it. Okay, so this is how I create guides. Now another way to create guides, let's remove all this. In fact, I don't even need to remove all this. You go to view, go to guides, and go to clear guides. You can see everything has disappeared. Now that same view is another way of bringing in your guides. So you can click on new guide. Once you click on new guide, it will tell you where do you want it to be. So you can now choose either the position or the percent or whatever. So you can choose 6% and they'll bring it in 6 this thing. I don't know if you get. Or you can go to view, you can go to guides, and you can go to new guide layout. And in that new guide layout, you can basically edit a bunch of guides at the same time. So you can see here I have my column and I have my rows. I also have the color of the guides I want. You can see that this cyan is actually the color of the guides. Okay, so in my columns I can make it 6. You can now see I have 6 guides. 1 2 3 4 5. I have 6 rows, 6 columns. 1 column, 2 column, 3 4 5 and 6 columns. If I want 6 rows as well, I can have 6 rows. I don't know if you're seeing. I can play with the number that I want. Alright, if I want nothing there, I can put nothing there. If I want it, I don't know if you get, you can just play around. Basically you can explore and see whatever you want. Okay, another thing that you can do is the margin. Okay, so you can see the method I gave you of putting rectangle and all of that. You don't need that. You can just come to percent, choose 10%, right, and it's going to give you 10%. You go back to view. If you press enter, it's going to close. So go back to view, you get layouts. So 10% is 135 pixels. So if you put 135 for all of them, you're just going to keep on adjusting. And if you press OK, you can see what we have. Alright, so that is basically how you play around with your guides. Because the reason why I'm making these videos, because there are some videos where I use guides a lot and I usually have to start explaining, you know, how I did it. So from now henceforth, I'm never going to explain again. I'll just direct you to this video, so if you don't know how to do it, you just come and watch it and learn. Because sometimes I use guides to, especially my brutalism posters, I use a lot of guides. Alright, so I hope this video was helpful to some of you. Alright, if it was, smash the like button, subscribe to this channel because more amazing content is coming. And of course, share this video to that designer that you think will benefit from it. Alright, till we meet again, peace.